Hello, and welcome back to the Cycle Starters podcast. I'm your host, Heather Rebecca Wilson, and today I am absolutely thrilled to welcome back a returning guest who has become a true legend in the realm of embodied transformation and intimate self discovery. Chloe De Sousa is a luminary with over 2 decades of experience guiding people through the depths of intimacy, embodiment, and ancestral healing. Known as the legend of space holding and hailed as the queen of five rhythms dance facilitation, Chloe's work bridges ancient tantric wisdom with modern trauma informed practices. As a seasoned dance movement psychotherapist, love and relationship coach, published author, and globally recognized facilitator, she empowers her clients to embrace their ecstatic sexuality and step into their own unique leadership journey. Since her last appearance on the show, Chloe's continued to expand her offerings, and today we're diving deep into her upcoming workshop on February 22nd. It's called Vision and Release Ritual Dance Your Spring Rebirth, a body centered ritual designed to help us release what no longer serves and magnetize the visions we want to welcome as we emerge into spring. So, before we get started, I do have a favor to ask. If you are enjoying the content that we are creating here on the Cycle Starters podcast, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. It really helps the algorithm get our content in front of more viewers. So it really helps the channel grow. Thank you in advance for that. I really appreciate your support. And so grab your favorite beverage, get a snack, get comfortable, and let's dive into this conversation with Chloe. Hello, my friend.
Hello, how are you, gorgeous?
I'm doing so well. I'm so excited for your workshop. I'm so excited to be connecting with you again today. Thank you for saying yes to all of this.
It's just brilliant what I do. I'm actually really excited to be here. And also, you promised me a little reading later on in this
I
show.
know.
So,
I can't wait to get into it. Before we get into all the things that I mentioned in the intro that I just shared, will you remind us about your blood ancestry? Like, where are your ancestors from?
I live in the UK. So most of my ancestors are actually because I got sent my father's DNA recently, the
Okay.
reading of where it all is. Most of it is in Europe and Devon and Cornwall, which is the southern tip of England that I live in, incidentally. Came back here after about 10 years ago now. So I'm a white European. I come from lineage really of witches, I would say. There's a lot of
Mhm.
pagan and Celtic magic over this side. And that's what I really connect to. There's something about this land that has a lot of strength, pre-Christianity, that has its roots in nature, I would say, in nature itself.
I love that you got some more DNA information since we last talked. That's awesome. And did you mention any Viking heritage? Am I remembering that correctly?
You are definitely remembering that right. It's something in my knowing. I don't know if you've had this experience yourself, but when you're learning about things or when you come across certain cultures, it was like full yes. It's like I know completely that that's there for me. There's a sort of, that Icelandic kind of Nordic side to me. That when I went to those countries, everybody assumed I was an indigenous person, spoke to me in the local dialect, and actually it was like I had no idea what people were talking about, but I felt really at home. You can't tell me that didn't happen in my lineage because I know it did. Yeah.
Viking history is so fascinating to me, and it's really been in the past 2 years that I've learned more about British and European history. So, yeah, anytime the Vikings come up, my eyes get really big because I
Yeah.
just want to know everything. It's so cool.
Yeah, I'm a natural warrior. Wherever that
Yeah.
comes from, it's like that's my home place. That's not a stress for me. That's just like, okay, that's how I occur.
All right. Well, let's see. So it was about a year ago that we last connected. You were one of the first people I had on the podcast, I think. And so give us a little update. What have you been up to this year?
What haven't I been up to? I've really been building a lot of the ecstatic dance ritual side of feral grace, as well
Mhm.
as really deepening and developing the nervous system work around trauma release, people building their own narratives, working very, very much in connection with my local people around that. And then the body song, which is the ecstatic dance side of things, which everyone will get a flavor of in the February workshop, is really trusting the body to know exactly what its unfolding is. So the body in movement, in dance, has a natural capacity to heal itself, to digest events, to integrate the past. So watching that magic happen for people is part of what we'll be doing in February and what I've been up to the last year or so. And so there's a local online class for everybody because Feral Grace is worldwide when it comes to
Mhm.
body song. And so you get a group of women together, shedding skins, completing their past, healing their bodies. It's an exciting space and everybody's welcome, you know.
I love it. I love that you're doing this. And one question that I actually forgot to ask you in our last conversation is about five rhythms dance. Can you explain this modality to me and the rest of our community? I want to just find out more about it.
Great. So it was really brought into definition by a woman called Gabrielle Roth, which you can all look up. She was a New Yorker. And she noticed when watching people move and dance that there was a pattern to it that moved through five rhythms: flow, staccato, chaos, lyrical, and stillness. Those rhythms inhabit our daily life. They inhabit, our birth. They inhabit the way we move through the day. You start slow, you move into more beats, more definition, your list. Things get chaotic when you can't finish your list. And lyrical's really the movement of your soul. So it's patterns and repetition at that point in the dance floor. And then you land in stillness, which is really the rhythm of healing. So she noticed this, brought it into proper definition and made it a worldwide movement. And it just thrived. It blew up overnight. So I think I was in my 20s when I found her and studied with her. And it's incredible watching people feel at home in those rhythms and watching how the ease of the body because it knows something about that rhythm. So sometimes I don't even need to tell people that that's the pattern of movement that's going to take place because there's not a set step. You're listening to your body and you're moving whatever it wants to move. That in itself is releasing because if you think even a moment in your day to day where you would have liked to have paused and self expressed over an event that happened, we're always playing catch up with our bodies. So you give the body a movement space and suddenly the body will play catch up. Suddenly you become very present. Suddenly your heart comes online and it's a glorious place to give yourself.
I love it. Thank you for explaining that to me. Well, so for those of you who are new to my work, I am an ancestral healing guide, and most recently, I became a quantum soul guidance galactic astrology practitioner. So I've added this layer of galactic astrology, which includes fixed stars and nebulas and black holes and super cosmic points to the natal chart. So we look at how your natal planets, the ones that we're familiar with, the sun, the moon, Mars, Mercury, etc., how they're in conversation with these galactic points. And I have a monthly membership called the Cosmic Awakening Circle. So it's a sacred space for cycle breakers and cycle starters to really embody their highest soul mission. And so, what I love about galactic astrology is that it looks at your soul's journey across eons of time. So, it's not just about this life. It's like, what have I been doing over many, many lives? So, in the membership, we do include a lot of embodiment work because my feeling is that if you're really serious about breaking cycles and starting new patterns in your lineages, you have to do this on all levels of your being. So it's mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical. And so, Chloe, my question for you, because I don't think a lot of people understand the physical aspect, the embodied aspect of ancestral healing. From your perspective, how would you say those are connected? So, how has movement, embodiment, dance supported you on your ancestral healing journey?
Great. First of all, with your latest training, it's like best better. I'm so
Thank
excited.
you.
So excited. I think the thing is like Bessel van der Kolk says, you know, the trauma doesn't live in the event, it lives in the body. So for some of us, that's and the majority of us, that's actually intergenerational. So even today, I had a client who's got sick, and then their daughters got sick at the same time, but it's the same childhood pattern that his mother carried and his mother's mother carried. So when you start to release what's stored in the body, you're releasing the intergenerational pain, and you're bringing peace to it when you integrate it. So down one of my matrilineages, that's a lot of pain stacked up there. What comes into being when you start to dance and you dance regularly, or you work with the soma like I do in embodiment coaching, is you start to release the patterns that are stacked there. You also start to fall into forgiveness of yourself and your lineage, and you start to bring peace to it. But it's bringing it into awareness, because so many of us were told, don't be sad, don't be angry, when actually that's exactly what was sitting there that wanted to move. And when you've moved it, it's done. Instead of all this energy keeping it down, it's done.
I love that. So concise. Your answers. I mean, you're so good at what you do, and your wisdom is so embodied. Mm. Tell us a bit about this workshop coming up on February 22nd of 2026. So it's Vision and Release Ritual, Dance Your Spring Rebirth. So what can folks expect from this workshop, and how should they best prepare to get the most out of it?
The best you can prepare is by coming along and allowing yourself to feel whatever you want to feel in that moment, and putting that into movement. So specifically in that workshop, you know, you and I were aware, like, it's spring, it's February, we're kind of defrosting. So I'm looking really to invite you on one level just to release whatever last year served up, so that you can vision and step forward, and that will be within the lyrical rhythm of the dance floor, step forward into what it is you want to call in for yourself. And at that point in the workshop, there will be many blessings, like literally falling from the sky into your body. Like, you will experience that. And when we release, you see, release and then vision, when you release, you've got more space for the vision to drop in. You've got more space to hear your own vision, or the vision be delivered to you, however you experience your own visioning. If you want to do deep time, which you're welcome to because I go deep, you could be releasing something from your childhood or from your lineage or from 5, 10 years ago. The last workshop I held this year was called The Pain Alchemist. You know, like, I'm serious about this, and I make it fun, which is unusual. So we'll be releasing what we no longer want to hold us back, in order to vision our ultimate fruit for 2026. So you could come with an intention and jot down some ideas around that, or you can rock up, because it'll all happen anyway. You will be releasing something, and you will bring something in that you'll be like, that's it, I got it. So if you can't think of anything in advance, just come and intuit your way through.
I love it. All right. Well, so what should people wear? Should they be prepared to sweat a bit?
Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of people get shy around movement. So unusually in my spaces, I do let people turn their cameras off once we've said hello
Mhm.
to each other, and I know it's a safe space, because it tends to bring out the most authentic movement. The sweet spot is not about thinking what you look like to other people in the Zoom call. The sweet spot is perhaps having your camera off, consenting your body to move exactly how it needs to release whatever it wants to express. So I'm unusual in that. It takes an immature space holder to do that because you have to feel the group field in a very specific way. And then we arrive at the end back with cameras on. Some people will leave their cameras on throughout, but if you're worried about being seen whilst moving, I'll give you the camera off option. So you could come in tracksuit bottoms and a t-shirt and a bottle of water. The best sound quality you can get for you is fine. But I've danced anywhere. I've danced in small hotel room hallways. I've danced in large spring flung dance floors. I've danced in my own bedroom. So even if you have a small space, it will happen. It'll be good.
Oh, it's going to be so good. It's going to be amazing. Thank you so much for preparing this. And it's going to be incredible. And I'm very excited to experience your very, very powerful medicine. So thank you. Thank you again. So if you're interested in participating, I will be putting a link to save your spot in the show notes. So again, this is happening on February 22nd of 2026. So that is a Sunday morning for me in California. So this will be 1 p.m. Eastern time and 10 a.m. Pacific time. And I'm not sure what it is UK time, but hopefully
5
you can
p.m.
5 p.m. UK time. All right, cool.
and 6 p.m. European time. So we've got it all covered, Heather.
I know. Well, we planned ahead. It was great. All right. So I'm really excited for this. Well, so let's do your galactic reading. What do you
Go
think?
on. Yeah,
All
don't
right.
make me wait any longer.
Oh my God, you're funny. So just to let people know what your big three are, you are a Libra sun, correct? A Libra rising, and then you're a Cancer moon. So we definitely went deep with your big three in the previous episode that we recorded. So if you want to hear that, you can watch the first episode, the first interview I did with Chloe. Today we're going to be going over some really cool things I found with your galactic astrology placements. And so this isn't a deep dive because that would require me opening your soul records. And so I can see just looking at your galactic report because you gave me your birth information and the time and location is really important for this. I can see your soul connections very clearly. The quality of those soul connections, I'm not sure of just yet. So I can't tell you, you had a past life here, or you were in a relationship with a person from this star system, or you went on a mission to this star system. So that's more granular. This is going to be more high level, but there's some really amazing things that I came across. So the first thing that I would say is that whenever I'm looking at a galactic report, I'm scanning it for certain markers because there are 4 different galactic life themes that I look for off the bat. And so the first one is the teacher, speaker, influencer guide. The second one would be a healer, dense energy transmuter. The third would be an innovator, systems builder. And then the fourth would be a galactic ambassador. And that's basically a combination of all 3 of those galactic life themes. So when reviewing your placements, you actually fall into 2 of these categories, Chloe. So you are a teacher, guide, speaker, influencer. Like, no surprise there. Okay. And you have all 5 markers for that, which actually is rare. And then you're also an innovator, change maker, and systems builder. So to give you an idea of who's famous, who has these markers for the teacher, speaker, guide, influencer, Tony Robbins has that kind of natal chart. And for the innovator, Henry Ford has that type of chart. Okay. So this is really cool. And like I said, really, really rare. And then I feel like you didn't just come here to inspire people. You came here to change the actual framework of how we live, learn, and relate to one another. So, one of the strongest signatures that I found in your chart, your moon in Cancer, right? This is your emotions, your emotional core, your emotional inheritance, including ancestral wounds, but also the gifts they gave you. Your moon in Cancer is conjunct the star Sirius in your ninth house. And Sirius is one of the most spiritually significant stars in the sky, and it's sometimes known as the spiritual sun behind our sun, and it's associated with sacred knowledge, higher wisdom, and advanced consciousness. So with your moon here, your emotional body and intuition are deeply connected to a higher realm of truth. You're innately tuned to ancient wisdom traditions, spiritual teachings, and soul level truths. And it's not something that you've had to learn, it's something you remember. And so your feelings are wise, your gut is incredibly wise, and your emotional world is actually a channel for higher knowledge. And then adding to that, your midheaven, which is the very top of your chart, this represents your career, what you do in public, what you're known for. Your public mission is also conjunct Sirius. So you have a very strong soul connection to Sirius, which, by the way, is connected to ancient Egypt. Just putting that out there. So, this tells me that your soul mission is to teach, to guide, and illuminate others. So you're meant to be visible for your wisdom. People are drawn to your energy because there's a sense that you carry codes even when you're not speaking. So this is the placement of somebody who's meant to be respected for their insight and their ability to guide others through bigger meaning and perspective. So that was really cool that I found that. And then in your chart, you have a north node and a south node, and they aren't celestial bodies. They represent the top of the moon and the bottom of the moon. And your north node is basically your assignment in this life. So if you're not doing your north node assignment, you will not be able to manifest. It's like you're hitting your head against a brick wall. The south node represents your past lives, gifts you're bringing from a past life, but also the lower expressions that you're shedding. So what I thought was really interesting was that your south node is conjunct the star Betelgeuse in the Orion constellation, and Orion is also associated with ancient Egypt. And this speaks to spiritual mastery from other lifetimes. So Betelgeuse or Betelgeuse or Betelgeuse, depending on how you want to pronounce it, is a warrior star. And we talked about how you're a warrior, but it's not a warrior of violence, but a warrior of consciousness. And so it gives charisma, strength, and the courage to lead. So it feels like you've been a teacher before, maybe in other lifetimes, other cultures, other worlds, right? Off planet. And that confidence is in your bones. You're not new to leadership. You're remembering your leadership. And then the other cool thing I found was that your Venus in Sagittarius is conjunct Antares, which is another signature of the spiritual initiator. So this is rare because Antares is one of the four fixed royal stars, and it's the heart of the scorpion. So it's associated with deep truth, intensity, and this ability to walk through shadow and emerge with wisdom. With your Venus here, it's like your voice, your words, your stories, and your art carry a lot of power. So you're not just communicating, you're transmitting transformation. So there's a philosopher, a truth teller, and a mystic in the way that you express love, creativity, and meaning. And then, my goodness, your rising sign, otherwise known as your ascendant. So this is your perception of reality. This is the energy that people pick up on when they first meet you. Your ascendant is conjunct the star Corvus Algorab. And this is really fascinating because Algorab is the star of the mystic observer. It sees what others want to avoid, basically. It's highly intelligent, it's intuitive, and it's unafraid of darkness or complexity. And this gives you the ability to see through illusion, to see through hypocrisy and false structures. And so You're an innovator, systems builder, like I said. So this is huge. You can't fix what you can't see, and you see everything. And then finally, one of the most intense, rare, and powerful placements, your Pluto in the 12th house, which already tells me that you're very psychic and intuitive because anybody with planets in the 12th house of spirituality, of what is hidden, um, is psychic. Your Pluto is conjunct the supergalactic center, and this is one of the four super cosmic points in galactic astrology, and this is so massive. The supergalactic center is one of the most mysterious and powerful points in the known universe, and it has a massive gravitational force that pulls entire galaxies into alignment. And so, with your Pluto conjunct the supergalactic center in the 12th house, I feel like your soul is connected to ancient cosmic intelligence. This is the signature of a deep spiritual architect, someone who's here to dismantle old karmic structures at a collective and unconscious level and seed a new frequency into humanity's energetic field. So you're not just here for personal healing, you're here for ancestral, collective, and cosmic recalibration. So when I step back and just look at this high level, consideration of your galactic placements and your imprint, I see a spiritual teacher carrying codes from Sirius, a leader who has done this before, which is a lot of that Orion energy. I see a communicator with the power to initiate, which would be associated with Antares. I see a seer who can detect what must end. That's the Corvus Algorab influence. And then I see a soul connected to galactic scale transformation, and that's the supergalactic center and Pluto influence. And so your presence alone shifts systems. You don't even have to say anything. You don't need to force change because you are the change signal. So your soul chose a lifetime of influence, not just on a social level, but on a cosmic and karmic architectural level. You came here to teach, to lead, to guide, to speak, and to just build something new that has never existed before. And you're doing it simply by being who you are. So I know that was a lot, and that was just kind of like a sprinkling of what I saw. Tell me, how is this landing for you?
Well, it's quite incredible. It makes me feel more at home. It makes me feel more at home. Like there was times when you were reading where I felt really affirmed, and that made me feel quite tearful, actually. Yeah. And some of that medicine, if you like, that I'm carrying, it's like it's not always easy. I've had people say, "Oh, you scare me." And it's not that I'm scaring them. It's they say that because they think that I can see stuff of
Mhm.
who they are, and it's just quite a tough pair of glasses to wear at times. And the warrior thing was uncanny because we mentioned it right at the beginning of the session. I was
I
like,
know.
I'm a warrior.
Yep.
So it's very, very affirming, and it allows me to feel on track. And the final thing I'd say is some of that instinctual impulse that I have to change things, it's getting easier. As it's no surprise that like you're doing more and more of this stuff because the frequencies down here are getting more fluid. So it's easier to create alchemy these days than it used to be 10, 20 years ago. And that's a beautiful feeling because it makes me feel like we're all on track. Like as committed healers or visionaries, we're all on track to try and create a sea change down here, if you like, for the better. Because there's too many people suffering as well as nature herself. So it's great. Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, you're so welcome. I love looking at people's galactic placements, but I do it with their consent because um I think it's very intentional. It was by design that I was focusing on my blood ancestors for so long because if you haven't done that work, if you're not aware of the patterns that you're carrying and empowered around what you want to shift, I think knowing this information can actually be overwhelming.
Mm.
So this is all in divine timing, but it's so obvious to me that your soul is so ancient. You've had many, many lifetimes of being a leader, and you're just remembering this leadership. This isn't anything new for you. So, yeah, this was super fun. Thanks for letting me do this.
It's great. It's really great. And I'm really looking forward to the workshop in February as well, and whatever else you and I cook up for 2026.
Yeah, exactly. I know. It's so fun to collaborate. That's really been one of the best things about having the membership is creating this community of amazing healing practitioners who are all specializing in a different modality. And like I said, I cannot wait to experience your medicine. This is going to be absolutely fantastic and transformational, I have no doubt. So, if you are interested in signing up for this workshop on February 22nd, the link is below in the show notes. Chloe, is there anything exciting that you're working on that you want to share with our community?
Yeah, well, last night I taught Body Song, which is my online dance space for women to move with their bodies. And I had a complaint this morning that it's not often enough. It's not frequent enough. So 2026 will pull in much more online dance spaces for women, particularly. And that's the thing, I'm fresh off the back of that from last night. That's the thing that's really floating my boat today and into next year.
Okay, fantastic. And then if folks want to find out more about you or how to work with you, where should they go?
And go to feralgrace.net. My website's probably the easiest port of call, and you can find me on Instagram as well.
Okay, perfect. So I will put all of that information in the show notes. So I know I asked you this question the last time we were together on the show. You might have an update. Are there any new cycles that you're starting in your lineages that have come through since last year?
And that's beautiful. That's really beautiful. I think really the cycle that I'm breaking. So a personal share is that I went to a funeral within my family in the last month, and I could feel their childhood in the room at the funeral. It was very, very sore. There was a lot of pain. There was a lot of distrust. There was a lot of manipulation. And the biggest thing that I'm really creating for my lineage as we move forward is truth. And that's physical truth, emotional truth, and if you like, soul truth. So really, in terms of my lineages that move forward through me, because I do have children, my job is to garden their souls and the people that I work with, so that they're free to exist in something that really helps them flourish rather than oppress them. And that's what I stand for. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, your kids are so lucky to have you. They chose you. All right. Well, thank you so much for being in dialogue with me again. I love connecting with you. I love collaborating with you. And I cannot wait to give you this full galactic reading. It's going to be mind blowing. Just this little slice that I shared today, this was just the tip of the iceberg, but it's pretty powerful. So,
I can't wait. I can't wait. And do you offer one-to-one readings? Like, can I
yeah.
tell my friends?
Yeah, 100%. Please tell your friends. I have different levels of how I work with people. If you want the full reading, because it's 2 hours, it takes me 8 to 10 hours to prep. That's the divine blueprint activation, and that's what I'm gonna give to you. But yeah, lots of different ways to work with me, and of course, tons of free content because I think by the time this episode goes live, we will have done 60 plus episodes of the Cycle
Incredible.
Starters podcast. So, yeah,
Incredible. Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you so
Listen,
much. Thank you so
thank
much,
you,
Heather.
of
Great.
course, and happy holidays to you. And we'll see each other soon. So, thanks, everybody. Thanks,
Take
Chloe. We'll
care.
see you next time on the Cycle Starters podcast. Take care.